Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much. You're highly welcome to this YouTube channel. I'm so much grateful. I'm Magical Blessing, and in this channel we inspire young mind, break limiting beliefs, and overcome life challenges. In today's video, I'll be talking about my scariest wilderness experience story. I'll be telling my story in this episode. I've already shared the episode 1 of this scariest wilderness experience in this channel. I think earlier this year I shared the story in this channel. If you haven't watched the video, I'll be pinning the video in this particular video so you can be able to watch it. Try to watch that episode 1 before watching the episode 2 so you will understand the story properly. So I'll be sharing my story in this episode, and I do hope you find it interesting and valuable, because I know there are a lot of moral lessons in the story that will help us in our journey, in our day-to-day activities, our daily living. I believe there is moral lesson that will help us in this particular episode. So if you're interested in this topic, kindly sit back, relax, and keep watching. To start from where I stopped in the episode 1 of this wilderness experience. But before I start, I would like to explain what wilderness experience is for clarity's sake. Wilderness experience is the darkest period of one's life. It's the painful period of one's life. It's a period whereby people experience unfavorable situations that tend to affect them in any aspect of their life. Is a darkest moment of one's life. So before I came to Philippines, I already got admission in a school with the course I'll be doing. But immediately I arrived Philippines, I had a change of mind. I never liked the course they gave me, and I never liked the school. So the only thing that was coming to my mind was to change the school, go look for school, and do the course of my choice, the course of my dream. It was barely up to 3 days I entered the country, and I went in search of school. Now, before I went on that journey, my friends told me that I shouldn't. My friend told me I shouldn't make that move, that I should just accept the school and continue with the course they gave me. So meanwhile, I never liked the course, I never liked the school. I told myself that I won't. I told them I can't continue with the school, and I won't take up that course. Nursing is not my dream course. I wanted to do medicine, so I went in search of school. Now, before I left, my spirit and the Spirit of God was speaking, but I was suppressing the voice because I never wanted to hear that voice. I already made plans with my parents before I came to Philippines. I told them that once I get here, I will look for a means to change the course and shift into the course of my dream. So we already had the agreement, and I already decided within me, and whatsoever I want in this life, I like going for it. No matter what it will cost me, I like going for what I want. Nursing is never my dream course, and studying in a college is never my dream. On that fateful day, I left my city to the particular city where I want to go in search for school, a medicine school that will admit me. So I went to the school. The journey is like 7 to 10 hours journey, depending on the ride. So it took me like 7 to 10 hours to get to the location and the school. When I got there, I met with the school authority. I explained everything to them, that I want to change a course, and I don't like the school that I got admission in, and the course they gave me, I don't like it. So my dream course is to start medicine, to change to medicine. So they gave me their requirements and everything, but there was a problem, and I needed to come back home and make plans if I'll continue with the school because their requirement was way too high for me. So I decided to come back to my city to make plans on my next move. Now, after I was done with the school, I went to make inquiries. I now had to go back to my city. I went to the terminal where I would get a bus that would take me back to my city. Now, when I got there, they asked me where I'm going. They asked me the city I'm going to. I told them my city. Unfortunately for me, my city name, or there are two cities that are bearing that same name, similar name. They have similar name, but I can't say which of the city because it was barely 3 days I came to the country. It was barely 3 days I entered the country. So I can't really differentiate between the two cities. So I just decided on one. I just picked one. They just wrote two cities for me. They wrote two of the city on a paper and asked me which of them am I going. I just picked one. I believe that the one I picked will be my city. And back then, I haven't set up my social media account, so I could even chat or ask my friends back home which of the city, what is the name, what's the actual name of our city. I couldn't chat because I haven't set up my social media account as at then. So it was so difficult for me to make a choice. I just picked one of the name. At that moment, I could remember my friend asking me to wait. Even if I want to go to the school, I should wait a little bit so I could familiarize with the environment before stepping out. But I said no, she should not worry, that I'll be fine. I'll find my way around and all of that. But what happened. I just picked one of the city and they took me to the city. I picked the city on the paper. The driver just took me with other passengers to the city. So on our way, after like 6 hours, I was still not understanding the environment. I looked at the environment because I was looking through the window of a vehicle. I wasn't understanding anything. I wasn't understanding the environment. The environment doesn't look familiar at all. At a point, I went to the driver. I asked the driver, please, I'm not understanding this place. This place, I've not seen this kind of place in my life before. Are you sure you are taking me to the right place? He said I shouldn't worry that I'm going to the right place, that he is taking me exactly where I picked on the paper. I calmed down. I sat down. I was just contemplating. I was thinking. And I couldn't even chat because my social media account has not been set up at the time. So I sat back and was waiting for the driver to get me to the final location. So after like 8 hours again, I went to the driver. I told him, please, I'm becoming worried and confused. I'm not understanding anything. Please, where are you taking me to? At that point, I was already shedding tears. The driver said, don't worry, calm down. We are going to the place. You will get to your destination very soon. Just don't worry, calm down. I'll take you to your destination. I said, okay. I sat back. Finally, we got to the final destination and he told me, we are here. This is my location where I picked. So I was excited because I thought I've arrived in my city. When I now got down from the bus, I looked around the environment. I wasn't understanding anything. That was when I knew that my condition is becoming critical. I couldn't understand anywhere. I don't even know where to start going from there because nowhere is familiar. At a point, I started crying. I told the driver, I told you, this is not my location. Please, this is not my location. This is not where I was talking about when I picked what I picked on the paper. The driver said that I already picked the name on the paper and this is exactly what I picked. And here is the city. That they can't do anything about it. So when I started explaining further my city, other people gathered and we are analyzing. Remember, I couldn't chat. I couldn't call it. I couldn't chat anyone because my social media account, even to contact or to call anyone, I wasn't able to call anyone at the time because everything was like shut down for me. I couldn't call, I couldn't chat. Nothing was set up at the time. So people now gathered and we analyzed and they discovered that the city I was talking about was different. When I told them that this is not my city, They now said that if this is not my city, that definitely the other city will be mine, because there are only 2 cities that are bearing this similar name. So definitely the other city is my city. So they now told me that to get back to that my city, it will take me 11 hours journey. And at the time we are talking about this thing, it was 11 p.m. in the night. I was confused, I was frustrated, I was crying, I was in pool of tears. People gathered. I said, okay. I thank God I had my ATM that very day. I went to the close by ATM, I withdrew money. I don't even want to think about what I've spent in that journey. In the transport alone, 11 hours back and forth. I don't want to talk about it, but let's just focus on the things that happened in the process. So I withdrew. They directed me to another bus that would take me to a terminal where I would get a bus that would take me to my city. So I entered the bus that took me to the terminal. I got to the terminal. I entered another bus that is going back to my city. So as I entered the bus that is going back to my city, at that moment I was praying in my heart. I was asking God, please, if you deliver me from this journey, I will never disobey you in my life again. Just help me get home safely. I was just praying and crying, begging God, pleading for mercy. Everything was running through my mind that very day. I was thinking, how about if I miss in this particular place? Who will even know that I came to that kind of area? Who will even understand that I came to that city at all? Fast forward to when I got back to my city. Thankfully, I got to my city the next day safely and sound. And immediately I entered my room. I knelt down. I thanked God. I told myself, from today, nothing in my life will make me to be stubborn again. Nothing will make me to be stubborn. Especially when God is speaking to you, your friends are speaking to you, and when the voices of your friends are sounding like the voice of God, and still yet, because of my stubbornness, I paid deaf ears to all of those advice. I never took any of them until what happened. And now, me not liking the course they gave me and the school that I was given, I never knew that God has a plan for me. I never knew that God had a reason for allowing me to study the course, to be in the school. God is a master planner. God is a master planner. He already knows our end from the very beginning. We mortals, we know nothing. We are thinking we want the best for ourselves. We really want the best. We mortals, sometimes we claim that we already know what is best for us. Meanwhile, sometimes what we think is best for us is not the will of God for us. It was when I surrendered, I took all my documents, my credentials, everything. I took it to that very school. They enrolled me. When I started schooling in that particular school, I came to understand the reason why God wanted me to be in that school. I came to understand the will of God for me in that school. I came to understand a lot of things. Had it been I never encountered that missing road issue, I would have probably gone back to that medical school. Now, when I was in that school that I never liked, I came to realize the will of God for me, that God has a reason for letting me pass through that school, and God has a reason for letting me study the course. I came to understand everything, and I will be sharing that particular experience in the next episode. So what are the moral lessons from this story? Number one moral lesson I'll be talking about is disobedience. Whenever the voice of God is speaking to you, please try to listen. Try to follow the voice of the Lord. Especially when the voice is speaking and because of what you want, you don't want to listen to the voice. Please try and listen to the voice, because if you check in my story, I was very disobedient. I was very stubborn. I was stubborn. That was the reason the whole experience I encountered what I encountered. So you need to be obedient to the will of God. Whenever God is leading you to do something, Even if you don't understand it at the initial stage, even if you're not understanding the reason why he allowed everything the way it was or the way it is, please try and follow the process. Pretend as if you don't know anything, just follow the process, because actually we don't know anything. We know nothing when it comes to God planning our future for us. Try to follow the will of God. When God is asking you to do something, you are having the conviction in your spirit that God is the one speaking to you, but because this is not like what you want, it doesn't look like what you want, and you decide to abandon it and follow your own self or follow your own dream, please, let's try to be obedient to the will of God. Let's try to be obedient to the will of God. And another moral lesson I'll be talking about in this particular episode is patience. Just like in my story, I wasn't patient enough to study the environment that I just entered newly. Remember, I entered the country, it was barely 3 days. I never stayed to understand the country. I've never stayed to understand my environment. I was too impatient to study the environment at the initial stage. I just pick up on a journey that I haven't been before. I wasn't with anyone. I took the address I got from people about the school and I just left without making inquiries. I wasn't patient enough. We need to be patient whenever we are dealing with matters of destiny. Be patient enough to understand every details before you make a move. Alright guys, you're already coming to the end of this video. This will be all for now, and I do really hope you are blessed by this particular episode. Do you learn one or two things from this video? Do you got value from this video? Do not forget to give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think down the comment section below. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit on the notification bell to always get notified anytime we drop new video. And it will be great if you share this episode to your friends, to your family members, to your loved ones. Sharing this episode will help to let other people know about things like this, how to follow the will of God for their life. And God will bless you richly and abundantly. Thank you so much. I still remember myself, Magical Blessing, and I hope to talk to you soon in my next episode.